Hi everyone, Kathryn here. You're here for day 3 of the Epic Paper Arts blog hop with myself, Kathy Orta Files from Paper Phenomenon, and Jim the Gentleman Crafter. We each have been doing all week one building in a Christmas village. I've been doing a cottage. Kathy has been working on church, and Jim has been working on a village shop with a big display window. Now, some of you with sharp eyes noticed that I changed the door on the front of my house between when I did the video and when I took the final picture. So you had wanted to see how I made that door that looked like a panel door. And I'm going to show you that at the beginning of this video, and then I'm going to show you how to make the mini album that goes inside it. So the first thing you want to do is put a 1/2-inch strip of some kind of double-sided tape on the back of a piece of cardstock in the color you want to make your door. I made the door green with a red knob for the actual house itself. Today I'm going to show you a red door with a green knob instead. So once you've got your 1/2-inch strip of tape, you're gonna just slice and dice. Okay, then you need to cut this strip into 18 pieces, and you're going to cut 12 pieces that are 1 inch, and you're going to cut 6 pieces that are 3/4 of an inch. And you can do this with your paper trimmer or whatever you want. I found it was pretty easy for me to just do it this way with the rotary trimmer. And I'm going to start with my 12 1-inch pieces because I can get them all out of one strip pretty easily. And then after you've done that, you just need to make a second strip and cut 6 at 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then I'm gonna show you how you assemble the door. And you're gonna need, for the door itself, a piece of cardstock to fit your door opening. And the door on our house right now is, I believe, 2 inches by 4 inches. So let me go ahead and finish cutting these pieces out, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so once you have your 2 inch by 4 inch door, your 6 3/4 inch pieces, and your 12 1-inch pieces, you're going to ink 6 of your 1-inch pieces. And I'm using Festive Berries to do this. This inking is what's going to give it that dimensional look, like a panel door, because it's going to put a shadow around each of the pieces that you would hear, and that's going to make it look like they're raised. And the door is really realistic looking. The whole house is pretty realistic looking, you know, which was really fun for me to do. I had a lot of fun figuring out the siding and the shingles, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really like the black and white with the green door and red knob. And you're going to want to make 2 doors. because you want a door for the outside, and then of course you're going to want a matching door for the inside. So you'll need total for both doors 2 2-inch by 4-inch pieces, 24 1-inch by 1/2-inch pieces, of which 12 of them are inked, and 12 1/2-inch by 3/4-inch pieces, of which 6 of them are inked. And you'll need 2 brads, and you know, a gold brad or a brass brad will give you the most realistic door knocker look, but I also think if you do the black roof, that a black brad will look very classy. Or you can do what I'm doing here and what I did in the sample, which is Christmas colors. So, all right. So now that you've got all your pieces inked, you're going to need a centering ruler. And I'm going to zoom in here because I did get a comment on one of the other videos in this series that people don't always know how to use their centering rulers. This is a centering ruler that I really like. It's by Fiskars, and it's the orange is really easy for me to see on both light and dark papers. You know, some have black lines that you can't see so well on dark papers. So the way that you're going to adhere these is you want to adhere them 1/4 inch up from the bottom. So what I do is I then line the 1/4 inch line up with the bottom of my cardstock. And to get something centered, you're going to move it side to side until the corner of each bottom corner of the cardstock is pointing to the same measurement. In this case, it's the 1 because it's 2 inches. So this corner's at the 1 and this corner's at the 1. And that works for whatever you're trying to center. As long as the 2 corners are lined up on the same number on both sides, you've got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my pieces that is 1/2 inches by 1 inch and is not inked. So you want a naked one for this. And I'm going to center it again. So in this case, my 2 sides are going to be pointing to the 1/4 inch mark. And you're not going to be able to see this very well, but you can see it a little bit on camera. So you're going to take 2 more of your uninked 1 inch by 1/2 inch pieces, and you're going to adhere them 1/8 of an inch to either side of the one you just put down. So you just move over 1/8 of an inch on your centering ruler and put your corner down. And then you do the same thing with the other side. You move over 1/8 of an inch and you put your corner down. And that's going to give you 1/8 of an inch, a panel, 1/8 of an inch, a panel, 1/8 of an inch, and a panel. So now you want to take 3 inked pieces and adhere them right on top of these 3 uninked pieces. And you can see how that's creating the look of the raised panels that you get from one of those panel doors, those oak panel doors. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to flip it around and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put it at 1/4 inch and center it side to side. And then you're going to take 3 of your uninked 1 inch by 1/2 inch pieces and adhere them down. And again, you're just going to center your first one, and the bottom corners should be pointing to the 1/4 inch mark on either side of the 0. And then you're going to adhere one more piece on either side, 1/8 of an inch in each direction, left or right. And then you're going to take your last 3 1" by 1/2 inch pieces and adhere them right on top, just like you did before. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your centering ruler and you're going to line the whole thing up so that it's centered. And so in this case, it's going to be one corner pointing at each 2, and that's how we know it's centered. And you're going to take the first of your uninked 1½ inch by 3/4 inch pieces, and you're going to center it on here, and it gets centered at 3/8 of an inch on either side of the 0. And then you're going to take a second piece, you're going to flip the door around, you're going to center it, and then you're going to center the piece. And then this last piece, you kind of have to eyeball it, but you're just putting it right in the center, and you have all areas right all around it that you can line up, so it should go down pretty easily. And then you're going to take your 3 pieces and adhere them down. The 3 pieces that have been inked, and adhere them down. All right. So now you're just going to take your brad setter and you're going to pierce a hole, and I pierce a hole 1/8 of an inch in from this edge and then centered top to bottom. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it, and you want to kind of work this in because you've got to go through 3 layers. And then you're going to just take your brad and push it through. See what I mean about working it? All right. And then you're gonna go ahead and set your brad. Okay, and there is your door. So quick, easy, and really realistic looking. So if you want to continue the realistic looking door and you don't want to do the pattern paper door with the happy holidays or some other image, then this is a real quick and easy way to do it. Now, a note on the brad placement, you're going to want to make 2 doors because you want a door for the inside and a door for the outside, right? So whichever way you do your first door, you're going to need to put your brad for the inside door on the opposite side. So if you put it on the left panel for your front, then you want to put it on the right panel for your inside. That way when you flip it around, the doorknob is going to be on the same sides on both doors, and that way it doesn't flip directions. But here, this gives you an idea of the house actually looks really dramatic with a red door. Let me get its roof back on. Okay, but with the black roof and a red door, it looks really, really cute as well. So these panel doors are a really nice addition to your house if you want to continue the realistic look that you're getting from the siding and the shingles. So I'm going to show you how to make a quick mini album to go inside, and then that's going to finish my It Takes a Village series. You'll be able to see more inspiration from Kathy from Paper Phenomenon and Jim from the Gentleman Crafter by checking the video description below. Now we're going to make the mini album that goes inside of the house. And to do this, we are going to need 12 4" by 7" pieces of cardstock. And it doesn't really matter what color they are because they're not going to show too much, but they will show a little, so you want them to be Christmassy. But red, green, it doesn't really matter. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a 4x6 photo on the edge of each one. And this will enable you to get 24 4x6 photos into one little album, or you could do 12 photos and journal on the other side. It's up to you, however you prefer. So once you have your pieces with your photos on them, you're going to take 1" by 4" strips, and you are going to adhere them to one end of the cardstock. And this is just to help your pages breathe a little in the album so that they don't get too spread out by the photos on them, because you're going to be adding, if you add 2 photos to each one, there's going to be 2 photos in between each cardstock piece. So just by adding one little piece of cardstock here, that's just going to make it breathe a little bit better. Make the spine look a little bit nicer. And this is, again, a really good way to make a record of all your Christmases. You could make a house for your village each year and put one of these little albums in there. And they're so quick and easy to do because all you have to do is print your photos and make a cover. It's super simple. These little albums actually also make great gifts for the grandparents, you know, because they're easy to fill with photos and give as gifts. So for someone who's out of town, just wants to see your family and how you're doing, or, you know, if you go on a trip or an event with someone and you want to share the memories, you know, that's another way to go, thing you could use this for. New baby would work great for new baby. For any project where you want to give a gift to someone and you want to include photos in it, this is super simple. It's also really simple for the other person to do on their end, but since it's such an easy project, you could just do it for them. This would make a good album for a cookie swap. You know, the holidays are coming up, and I know a lot of people like to do cookie swaps. If you had everyone print their cookie recipe on a 4x6 sheet, then they would all fit into a book like this, and you could really quickly and easily make a book for everyone, and then you could all glue your cookie recipes in here. Now on your last piece, you're also going to put one on the other side. So one of them is going to get 2, and this is the back. This is the back. So basically you're going to take your stack now and flip it upside down. So you want the piece that doesn't have 2 on the top. Okay, and this is the inside of your book. So all you have to do now is punch your holes. And the easiest thing is to take your centering ruler once again, and this time we're going to center this a 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and since this is 4 inches, that's going to give us the corners pointing to the 2s on either side. And I'm going to mark at the 1 inch a little dot, and then that's gonna give me a place to poke my holes. And I'm gonna use my EK Success. Oops, that's too short. I'm gonna use my Crocodile. I'm just gonna line up those dots in the center and punch those pieces out. And then once you have your first one now can become your template for all your others. So you can just quickly line it up on each piece and make your mark. And the Crocodile is strong, so you can punch more than one at a time. So you can just take like 3 and punch them all at the same time and just mark the top one. And you want to keep using the same one as your template each time, because if your holes get slightly off each time you punch, you don't want to keep exaggerating the variation. So it's best to go back to your original each time to do your template. Alright, that time I punched through 3. This time I'm going to punch through 4. Let's see how I do. And because of an old thumb injury, I actually don't have the strongest hands in the world. So if I can do it, you probably can. Although that one was a little rough for me. I had to do 2 hands there, and that's a little awkward if you're trying to hold a stack. So, you know, you're punching through 8 layers of cardstock there. So if you do have strength problems, then you might want to stick to 3. I've got 4 left, so I'm just going to suck it up and do another batch of 4. But you have 12 of them, so 3 batches of 4 will get you done, or 4 batches of 3. Okay, so once again, you want the double-sided one to be on the bottom, and then all the others to be on the top. And this is going to be the basis of your book. So the next thing you need to do is measure this spine and see how thick it is. And mine is 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so my spine is 3/8 of an inch. So that is how I'm going to measure for my book cover. So let's talk about how you're going to measure your book cover. You need from here to here for your cover, okay, you need a piece that is 1 inch plus 7/8 of an inch. All right, so 1 7/8 of an inch. Then you need to add whatever your spine is. The reason I'm walking you through it like this is that way you can do a book with more pages if you know how to calculate. So for your front, you always are going to have 1 7/8 of an inch. Then you're going to add whatever your spine is, which in this case is 3/8 of an inch. So I'm now up to 2 1/4 for my overall measurement. And then you want a piece for your back, okay, which in my case is going to be 7 inches. And then you're going to score again here this piece. Now, since mine is 7 inches and I'm getting kind of long because I have 2 1/4 for this and then I have 7 for the back, I'm going to do mine in 2 pieces. So I need to add 2 1/4 to 7, which gives me 9 1/4. So I'm going to cut a 4 inch by 9 1/4 inch piece and show you how to score it. Alright, so I now have my 4 inch by 9 1/4 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 7/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to score 1 inch over from that, which is 1 7/8. Then I'm going to score 3/8 of an inch over from that for my spine, which is 2 1/4. And that's going to give me my cover. So you're going to just keep folding it back on itself. Like so. Okay. And then what's going to happen is your book is going to tuck right in there just like that. Okay? And then we're going to attach a piece to the back that's going to fold over to the front. Alright, so let me show you how it's attached. So you're going to take tape and cover your flap here with tape. No, don't do that. Ha, just kidding. You want to cover not this flap, the flap that tucks under, but this inside piece. So you want to kind of glue this piece to this piece, like underneath. So you are going to cover that flap, but I just want to make sure you're not covering the part that's going to stick to the book. You want to cover the part that's going to stick to itself. All right. Okay, so that's going to go like so. So this is your front, your left side of your cover. Now for your back cover, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to give it a decorative edge. Okay, and I'm using a scallop punch from the American Crafts Knockouts. Okay. And then I'm going to put this on my scoreboard. On this one, we're going to kind of work backwards. So my scallop ends up being like right around 11 1/4 or 11 1/2. So I want to back it up 1/2 inch from there. So I have plenty of room on the back to adhere. So I'm going to score at 11. Then you want to go back 1 to 3/8 of an inch. And then, okay, so let me show you how this is going to go on the back piece here. And then you are going to want to be able to tuck this piece under here. Okay, so I just eyeball this. But basically you want to put this score line on your trimmer at 6 1/4 inches and cut it. So you want to cut 6 1/4 inches from this score line. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your tape again and you're going to put it just between the edge, this first score line, and then at the base of your scallop. And this is your back cover. That's how it attaches. So you're going to take this piece, and then you're going to take this piece, and you're going to line up the bottom of this piece, the unfolded edge, with your score line, and press it together. And then your album's going to close like this. So the last thing that you need to do is you need to mark your holes. So you want to line one of your pieces up with the score line here. So you don't want it over the score line, you want it just touching the score line. And then you're going to mark your holes. And you're going to go ahead and punch those holes out with your crocodile. Now, if you wanted to, you could make this cover out of a lightweight chipboard. Lightweight chipboard will score, and that'll make it a little bit sturdier for you. But I imagine that these will just be taken out once a year at Christmas time, since they'll be in the houses. And they're not going to get a lot of wear and tear. But if you're making it as a gift for someone, then you might want to do that. So then you're going to take another piece and you're going to line it up, same thing, with the score line on this flap. So again, not touching the score line, not over the score line, just right up against the edge of it. And you're going to mark your holes and punch them out. And now your album is basically done, okay? So at this point, all you need to do is add your photos to your piece on the inside, and then we're going to add a little pattern paper to the front of this just to decorate the front. So let me add that pattern paper, and then I'll show you how to bind it all together with a ribbon. Okay, so for the front of your little book, you need a 7/8 of an inch wide by 3/4 of an inch long piece of pattern paper. And you can go ahead and eat the edges. And you need a 6-inch long by 3 1/4 inch piece of pattern paper. Center that there. And then this piece I'll put down here. you're going to have to re-punch your holes. Oops. Alright, and now it's time to put the whole thing together. And we're going to start from the front. I'm going to take a ribbon. I've got this pretty green grosgrain. And I'm going to come in from the front of the album through my hole. And then I'm going to do the same thing with all of these. I'm going to come in from the front. And this ribbon's pretty thick, but it's still going through the holes okay. And it's an inch wide, or 7/8 of an inch wide, or thereabouts. So you can get a pretty decent thick ribbon in through here, because, you know, there's some reinforcing that happens because of the extra cardstock. And, you know, when it starts fraying really badly, you can just, you know, snip a little bit off. Keep going. I wonder if I can get it through more than one. Let me try to get it through more than one hole at a time. I was able to get it through 3 at a time there. So now you're going to go through the back. You're going to be more gentle with the back because you're only at one layer on the back, so you don't want to pull too hard. And then you're going to lay the ribbon, you're going to put it through, and this is where it's going to start to get a little bit tricky because this is really tight now, and you want it to be tight. So you kind of have to just peel it apart a little bit and then pull it through. And you want it to lay on the back as flat as you can get it. Okay, so like that. And then, you know, working a few pages at a time. You're going to just keep feeding that ribbon through. And there we go. So once you've got it through, you can really pull on the ends to make sure it's in there nice and tight. And then go ahead and tie your bow. Hopefully my bow will tie. You know, you guys know that bows and I are like oil and water. Ooh, looks like I may have a bow. It's like kind of a crummy looking bow, but I think it can be rehabilitated somehow. So there's my bow. So once your bow is on there, it's going to put pressure on this so that when this piece tucks under here, okay, it holds it in. So this is now a whole complete folder. So that's it. So what you then do is you flip that page back and you can go through and look at all your photos. And this one has 12 pieces of cardstock in it, so it'll hold 24 4x6 photos. But you could get as many photos in here as you want. All you have to do is just keep lengthening the spine piece and adjusting all your other measurements from there. So there's your quick and easy Christmas mini album to go inside of your Christmas cottage. So you're going to lift off your roof and you're going to put this right inside there. And now this one has to fit on a diagonal. I mean, because it's, you know, at this length that you're kind of pushing it. So this one is thin, so it fits in there no problem. But if you wanted to make a really thick one, you could just reduce the size of these guys to 1/2 inch, and that would give you plenty of space. So there is your Christmas mini album inside your Christmas cottage. So thanks so much for watching the It Takes a Village series with Kathy Orta Files from Paper Phenomenon and Jim the Gentleman Crafter. Oops, tornado. And Jim the Gentleman Crafter from and we have been presenting these videos to you in celebration of an upcoming launch party, which is tomorrow night. It's getting close, you guys. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, and it will be here on YouTube Live, and I will be your host for the evening. We'll be giving away prizes and having exciting announcements, and you will see me in a way you've never seen me before. I don't know how else to say it than that. So I hope you'll be able to join in the fun, and please check the video description below for links to the giveaway registration and all kinds of neat stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.